Well, I think we're going to lose customers from Canada coming down to the U.S. I mean, they're a good part of our businesses down here.
We've always had good relations with Canada, so I hope we don't wreck that by producing tariffs on it.
We're neighbors. We love the U.S. Coming down here from Canada today, from Saskatchewan, we see the Canadian flag on the North Dakota side. That means a lot. The relationships we've built over the years means a lot more than the unfortunate political fight that we're in between right now.
Imagine a town where the streets are open, the lights are on, but the heartbeat of daily life has faded to a whisper. This is the reality for many American border towns in 2025. Places once alive with the hum of Canadian shoppers, truckers, and neighbors crossing for a quick meal or a weekend getaway. Welcome to Top 10 America Beyond, where we uncover the stories shaping the nation's edges. Today we're counting down 10 US border towns facing an unprecedented challenge, the sudden halt of Canadian visitors. From Washington to Michigan, these communities are grappling with a new reality, and their struggle holds lessons for us all. Before we dive in, if you're finding value in these deep dives into America's hidden stories, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to Top 10 America Beyond for more. Now, let's start our journey at number 10 and work our way to the top, exploring why these towns are fading and what it means for their future.
Top 10 America Beyond.
Number 10, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Picture two cities, mirror images across a river, sharing a name and a history. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. For decades, these twins were bound by more than the St. Mary's River. Families crossed the International Bridge for festivals, students swapped classrooms, and shoppers flocked to Michigan's cafes and stores. In 2024, Canadian visitors drove over 70% of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan's local economy, according to the Michigan Economic Center. But in 2025, that rhythm stopped. Round-trip crossings from Ontario dropped 48% by March, leaving cafes that once opened at 6 a.m. now starting at 9, and hotels keeping signs lit just to say, "We're still here." Why the change? Across the river, Ontario poured over 65 million CAD into tourism and retail, building casinos, museums, and cruise lines. Canadians no longer need Michigan's shores for a good time. Everything's at home. The impact is stark. Hotel bookings for summer festivals fell 60% year over year, and local unemployment in retail and dining ticked up. Yet there's hope. A bookstore owner now hosts community talks, and locals pitch heritage trails to draw new visitors. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan is asking, who are we without our twin? It's a question that echoes across these border towns. As we move to our next town, consider this: how would your community cope if half its visitors suddenly vanished? Number 9. Pembina, North Dakota. Pembina, North Dakota was never a destination, it was a vital pit stop. Nestled on the U.S.-Canada border, this town thrived as a logistics hub with trucks and parcels flowing between Winnipeg and the US. In 2024, Mike's Parcel Center handled hundreds of packages daily, and roadside cafes buzzed with truck drivers. But by early 2025, the Pembina County Economic Council reported a 30% drop in border service revenue. The reason? Canada took control of its logistics. Emerson, Manitoba, just across the border, became a bustling hub with Canada Post and Purolator running at full tilt. Winnipeg no longer needs Pembina's scanners or cafes. The fallout is quiet but real. Grocery stores serving drivers lost nearly half their sales, and auto shops sit idle without trucks to fix. Pembina's logistics centers, once the town's backbone, gather dust, their schedules still posted but ignored. Residents now realize their town was a waypoint, not a home base. Some propose new roles, like local crafts or tourism, but the path is unclear. Pembina's story, featured on Top 10 America Beyond, shows how quickly a town's purpose can fade when its neighbor moves on. What do you think Pembina could do to reinvent itself without Canadian traffic? Number 8. Darby Line, Vermont. Few places symbolize neighborly bonds like Darby Line, Vermont. Here, the Haskell Free Library once straddled the U.S.-Canada border. Its floor marked by a chalk line where kids played and readers sat, half in each country. It was called the world's softest border, but in 2020-25, that softness hardened. New US policies required Canadians to clear customs, even for a library visit, turning a shared space into a checkpoint. The Northeast Kingdom Business Council notes a 35% drop in retail revenue, with grocery stores closing and bookshops open just 2 days a week. Across the border, Stansted, Quebec, didn't protest, it adapted. New stores like Pharmaprix and Metro sprang up, and a renovated arts centre drew locals. Canadians, facing a weak dollar and customs hassles, built their own stage. Darby Line's residents feel the loss deeply, standing by the library door for neighbours who no longer come. Yet young locals dream of turning the town's unique history into a cultural draw. On Top 10 America Beyond, Darby Line's story asks us to consider what happens when a shared space becomes just a memory. Can Darby Line's history bring new visitors, or is its story fading? Number 7. Calais, Maine. Calais, Maine was once the shared kitchen for St. Stephen, New Brunswick. A quick trip across the St. Croix River brought Canadians to Calais for groceries, gas and medicine, fostering a sense of home across borders. In 2024, stores like CJ Feeds thrived on these visits. But by February 2025, US Customs and Border Protection recorded 3,000 fewer crossings, and Spectrum News reported a 61% drop in store orders. Calais' streets are open, but the air feels heavy, like a meal no one serves. St. Stephen transformed into a retail powerhouse with an Atlantic superstore and expanded malls. Canada Post's 48-hour delivery and a CAD-USD exchange rate below 0.70 in June 2025 made US shopping a hassle. Calais hasn't changed. Its family-owned stores still hang signs from 1955, but that's the problem. Young residents are leaving for Bangor or Portland, seeking jobs untied to the border. Calais, highlighted on Top 10 America Beyond, shows how standing still can leave a town behind when its neighbor moves forward. What would it take for Calais to thrive without Canadian shoppers? Number 6. International Falls, Minnesota. International Falls, Minnesota, once pulsed with Canadian visitors from Fort Frances, Ontario, crossing for shopping and dining. In 2024, local diners and outlet stores relied on Canadians for over 50% of their revenue, per the Couchiching Economic Development Authority. But by mid-2025, border crossings fell 40% and retail sales dropped sharply. Fort Frances built its own retail hubs with new Walmart and Canadian Tire stores, reducing the need to cross. The exchange rate and customs fees further deterred trips. Diners in International Falls now close early, and outlet stores struggle to stay open. The town's iconic Smoky Bear statue still greets visitors, but few arrive. Locals are exploring outdoor tourism, leveraging nearby Voyageurs National Park, but the transition is slow. This town's quiet decline, featured on Top 10 America Beyond, underscores the fragility of border economies. Could International Falls become a tourism hotspot, or will it stay a pass-through? Number 5. Houlton, Maine. Houlton, Maine was a bustling stop for Canadians from Woodstock, New Brunswick, drawn by its shops and restaurants, Ashton. In 2024, Canadian spending accounted for nearly 55% of Houlton's retail, according to the Aroostook County Tourism Board. But 2025 brought a 45% drop in border crossings, with stores reporting empty aisles. Woodstock's new retail parks and Canada's improved delivery systems kept shoppers home, while exchange rates made US goods pricier. Houlton's restaurants cut hours, and small businesses faced tough choices. Community leaders proposed local festivals and agritourism, but the loss of Canadian foot traffic stings. This story, part of Top 10 America Beyond, highlights how quickly a town's vibrancy can fade. What new identity could Houlton forge to replace its Canadian shoppers? Number 4. Detroit, Michigan, Border Retail Zone. Detroit's Border Retail Zone, hugging the Detroit River, was once a bustling hub where Windsor, Ontario, shoppers flooded across the Ambassador Bridge for weekend hauls. In 2024, the Detroit Regional Chamber noted, these Canadians drove 60% of sales, filling malls like Renaissance Center and packing riverside diners with brunch crowds. But 2025 brought a stark shift, US. Customs and Border Protection recorded a 50% drop in crossings. Windsor's new Costco Amazon hubs and Canada Post's swift deliveries, paired with a cadastre rate below 0.70 in June, made US shopping costly and cumbersome. The fallout is palpable. Outlet stores stand half empty, their racks untouched, while restaurants, once alive with cross-border chatter, cut staff and hours. Local surveys report a 40% sales slump for small businesses like gift shops since January, draining the zone's vibrancy. Detroit's wider economy, with its auto and tech backbone, softens the hit, but this strip feels hollow without Windsor's energy. Still, resilience brews. Locals propose cross-border festivals, art walks highlighting Detroit's murals, and markets to lure tourists and residents alike. These sparks of innovation face hurdles, but they signal hope. Featured on Top 10 America Beyond, Detroit's border zone shows how even a city's edge can dim when neighbors stay home, yet it dares to dream of a comeback. Number 3. Sweetgrass, Montana. Sweetgrass, Montana, once pulsed with life as a vibrant crossroads on the U.S.-Canada border. Its streets alive with Canadians from Calais, Alberta, darting across for gas, groceries, or a warm diner breakfast. In 2024, these visitors drove 65% of the town's economy, according to the Toole County Economic Board, making Sweetgrass a thriving hub without needing factories or colleges. But by mid-2025, that vitality faded, border crossings dropped 55%, leaving gas pumps idle and shop windows dim. Calais, now a self-sufficient retail center with new co-op stores and swift delivery systems, no longer needs Sweetgrass, especially with the Canadian dollar at 0.70 USD, making US trips costly. The town's main street, once abuzz with Alberta plates, now feels like a quiet echo of its past, with diners serving only familiar faces. Yet, Sweetgrass holds hope. Locals look to Glacier National Park's rugged allure, envisioning trails and craft markets to draw tourists. The road is tough, replacing quick-stop shoppers' demands a bold new identity. Featured on Top 10 America Beyond, Sweetgrass's tale asks, can a town built on fleeting visits become a destination worth staying for? How can Sweetgrass turn its border legacy into a new beginning? Number 2. Champlain, New York. Champlain, New York, once a bustling haven for Quebec shoppers, now grapples with a quieter reality. Its story a poignant chapter in Top 10 America Beyond. In 2024, Canadian dollars fueled 70% of Champlain's economy, with outlet malls and diners packed every weekend, according to the North Country Chamber of Commerce. Quebecers cross the border in droves, their cars a lifeline for local businesses. But 2025 changed everything. Border crossings dropped 60% as Quebec built new malls and delivery hubs, making US shopping less appealing with a 0.70 CAD exchange rate. Champlain stores, once alive with chatter, now sit half empty, and restaurants dim their lights early. The town's closeness to Canada, once a blessing, now stings. Quebec's prosperity is visible, but out of reach. Small businesses, from boutiques to bakeries, fight to survive, their owners wondering if the crowds will ever return. Still, hope flickers. Locals dream of artisan markets and Lake Champlain tourism, aiming to draw adventurers and historians. Champlain's challenge is clear. Can it forge a new identity without its northern neighbors? What could Champlain do to thrive without Quebec shoppers? Number 1. Blaine, Washington. At number 1, Blaine, Washington, embodies the border town crisis. This town, tucked at Washington's northern tip, once thrived on Vancouver's weekend shoppers. In 2024, Canadians fueled 60% of Blaine's retail, per the Northern Light. But by June 2025, the Seattle Times reported a 75% drop in border crossings. Gas stations closed, Amazon pickup points shut, and barbershops went to 3-day weeks. Blaine's heartbeat, its Canadian visitors, stopped. British Columbia's new logistics hubs, like Surrey's Central Pickup Hub, and a weak Canadian dollar kept shoppers home. A 2025 border incident where a Canadian family faced delays cemented the shift. Blaine's budget faces cuts, and young residents see no future. Yet some dream of a duty-free zone or new industries. Blaine's story, topping Top 10 America Beyond, is a wake-up call. Dependence on neighbors can crumble overnight. What will it take for Blaine to stand on its own? A lesson beyond the border. These 10 towns, Blaine, Champlain, Sweetgrass, Detroit's border zone, Houlton, International Falls, Calais, Darby Line, Pembina, and Sault, Marie, share a common thread. They thrived on Canada's footsteps. When those steps turned inward, driven by Canada's retail boom and a 0.70 CAD rate, the towns faced a reckoning. This isn't just about empty stores or quiet bridges, it's about communities forced to redefine themselves. From proposing tourism in Darby Line to heritage trails in Sault, Marie, these towns are searching for new light. The lesson from Top 10 America Beyond is clear. No community can rely solely on its neighbor. These towns must find their own spark, be it local crafts, tourism, or innovation, to shine again. Their story is a call to action for any place resting on borrowed time. So what's next for America's border towns? That's for them and us to decide. If this journey moved you, comment, and subscribe to Top 10 America Beyond for more stories that uncover the heart of America. Share your thoughts, which town's story hit you hardest. Until next time, keep exploring the stories that shape our nation.